Greetings, GeoNerds. Today we find ourselves at Wacol, and it's an interesting part of Brisbane. It's got some interesting geology. There's a lot of industry here, and a lot of people work here. So let's have a quick look at where it all started. Of course, it started with Big John Oxley. Comes cruising up the river in 1828 with the castaway convict Finnegan in tow, and he's trying to get to the point where the tide penetrates, and which is today up at Carolee. He didn't make it, he ran out of provisions, and he was concerned for time. But by 1858, Wolston House was built, which was this. This was in the 1860s, so they got it on, and they really did get the place settled. I will just flick out to, it wasn't called Wacol in those days. We'll do that more of that in a minute. We'll just do a fly-in so you can get a bit of an idea of where we are. Here we are, folks, flying out through the city as we can towards Toowong. We're not going to Toowong today. We're going to heel off here, straight over the old Toowong Creek. We're heading out to Wacol. Be careful, we're going off the edge of 3D land into Wacol. There we are. There's the Girls Golf Club, the motorway, all that amazing stuff. We're going to spin around here and have a look at how it's changed. A nice bit of land there. It'd be a good bit of land with a warehouse on, I reckon. Anyway, not to worry. We'll just pull back here. You'll see the rest of Wacol, and let's have a look at another map. So, folks, this is where Termination Hill is. This is where Oxley got to in the bend of the river, and the rest of Wacol's there now. The Gale Station. For some reason, Wacol Station doesn't get a railway tag in this, but it's definitely there. Here we have a subdivision. I don't think this ever happened because there is absolutely no sign of it in the landscape. This one there's more sign of in the landscape, but only the major roads, all the blocks. That's now where the Wacol prison facility is. And the next one is another Wolston estate, Wolston Station estate this time. And I think this is probably there. If you have a look, you can see these places there. £1 £5 deposit, £1 per month, Let's have a look at some geology. Well, folks, this is a geological map of the area, surface geology. And yeah, it looks a bit like a painter's drop sheet when you first look at it, but if you look carefully, it makes a lot of sense. This dark brown formation here, and I'll just put a ring in it so you can see what it is. This is called the Oxley Group, or the Oxley Formation. These do not indicate a rock, they indicate a group of rocks that belong together. So this thing it contains claystones, sandstones, shales, basalts, conglomerates, siltstones, limestones. It's basically a mixed bunch of sedimentary rocks, and it's from the Paleocene. So as we know from our days of studying this, that's from the Paleozoic Eon, and it's the Cenozoic era. It's the Tertiary period, and it's the Paleocene, and it's about somewhere between 60 and 65 million years old. So that is about right for the Ipswich area. That a lot of the rocks up here are the same age. Now there's a green rock you can see here, and that green rock is a totally different rock formation. That's called the Woogaroo Group. It's still definitely a sedimentary group, but it contains a different group of rocks. Quartzose sandstone, siltstones, shale conglomerate, and coal. And the difference between this one is Jurassic. And Jurassic is, we know from our old days, and I'll put the little chart up again, it's still a Paleozoic rock, but this is from the Mesozoic era and the Jurassic period, and this is probably between 150 and 200 million years old. So this is a very old group of rocks. And yeah, people are building their factories on top of them. Who'd have thought? So here we have the prettiest map we do, the topographic map. And you can see Termination Hill there. I'll put a ring around that. And there's the high ground over at Richlands. And you can see the ridging back towards there where the river's obviously hit the hard rock and just turned away from it. But looking at some of those valleys, the river's possibly gone through there at some stage in the past. But there is quite a network of creeks cutting through that softer rock, because the rock in Brisbane is much older and much harder. Most of the rock in Brisbane is metamorphic rock. This stuff is just sedimentary. Rock in Brisbane, some of it's 3, 4, 500 million years old. It's much older than this stuff. So anyway, we'll have a look at some aerial photos. Well, folks, this one's from 1944, and usually I would zoom in on something interesting, but there is really absolutely nothing going on there. What looks like a grass airfield, not sure it is. I think it might be some form of easement, but there's not much going on. You can see Wacol Station Road and Progress Road up the top. Boundary Road doesn't exist. Tipswich Road's just a dirt road, as the Americans found out when they came here. The railway line was there. So what we'll do is we'll now have a look at 1948. Now this one's from 1948, sorry, a little more going on here. You can see that old airfield shape has faded, but the military have definitely got some stuff going on towards Greenbank, and of course Wacol Station Road is now very defined. You can start to see Boundary Street and a little bit of formation in what turns into Tank Street, but yeah, a bit of agriculture going there. And your bloke who used to own a vineyard on Progress Road, and I don't think this is probably a bit too old for that, but anyway, not to worry. Let's have a look at the last little bit. Let's finish this story. Let's turn it over. Well, folks, we're at the end. I said I'd explain why it's called Wacol, because it wasn't. It was called Wolston. Wolston Station Estate, Wolston Station. Wolston House was opened in 1852, as we said earlier, and it's the earliest dwelling surviving from the early days. So it's worth having a look at. National Trust own it now. Looks like the Dean brothers missed this one, but anyway, not to worry. So Wolston Railway Station was opened in 1874, but it's kept getting confused with Wilston Railway Station. I've had to re-record quite a bit of this stuff because I kept saying Wilston. So the Wolston Railway Station was renamed to Wacol Railway Station in 1927 on the 8th of July. And it was chosen as Wacol because they had a weighbridge there and they used to weigh a lot of coal. Weigh coal. And there you go. I suppose they're probably going to change Tangalooma to a railway station. Not to worry. Keep rocking. T-Rock's out.